And we're back live only a couple days after the last podcast, but, why not? But mainly it's because the one guy came out with his next list, which we kind of expected was going to come out in the next couple days. This time on goalies. Surprisingly, to both of us, that was only top 10.
Right.
But they did a top 10. We'll give you our top 10, but in doing our top 10...
We're really giving you a top 20.
Yeah. We're giving you the list you deserve.
Because there's one, it's only fair if we already gave our top 20 for everything else, why not top 20 for this?
Yeah.
And two,
there's
too many names out there to make it a top 10 list. Like literally, I counted 5 goalies that were not
like
on.
When you were looking at those, like, wait, what about this guy?
Yeah, right.
And this guy.
Literally, no. I'll say this. Like literally, there was 5 names alone on there that I counted off the top of my head that weren't even on the guy's original list, and I thought,
why isn't this guy here?
Exactly. It's unreal.
Which, again, like every other of his lists, it's going off last season. And
which is ridiculous.
One thing we'll say is the one thing I'll just get out when we get to it. And then we have a little signing. And we move on to our next team and the New Jersey Devils.
Yep.
That one we might spend a little more time on just because they did a lot.
They did a lot, yeah.
Probably out of all the teams, they probably did the most.
Easily out of all the teams in the Metro and one of the most active
up
teams.
Up there with the Rangers.
Yeah, I was going to say, besides the Rangers, they're the most active team in the offseason. Not only that, but they were one of the most active teams in the all NHL.
Yes, they got lucky.
Yes, no, luck always plays a factor, of course, but hey.
I meant getting the first overall.
Well, that's what I meant, yeah.
And then everything else just kind of followed.
Exactly, yeah, but
I guess we'll just start off with the smallest thing, which is the Pat Maroon signing.
A Stanley Cup champion is
moving on to a Stanley Cup contender and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Only for 1 year, though.
Yep. With for $900,000.
Yeah.
So he won a cup. And now he has a chance to potentially win another. But now,
which is weird to me.
Why is that weird to you?
No, not that. I just want to look at his stats.
Okay.
Is that really all he can really afford? He's only 31. He put up 28 points last year.
I mean, honestly, you'd imagine him.
Which isn't great, but if you're...
what was his last contract? That's what I'm curious about. Because I don't think it was that.
Contract,
I don't think it was more than 900,000. Honestly, it was in a couple $100,000.
Was 3 years, $6 million with the Anaheim Ducks.
I lied. Ignore me.
Sorry. It was 1 year. Sorry, that was the one before.
Oh, okay.
1 year with St. Louis.
Yeah. Okay. But
the other one was signed in 2014.
That makes sense.
3 years, 6
there
million.
You go.
But
yeah,
I want to look at his stats real quick.
Right.
So,
but while you're doing that though, for Maroon,
last year he put up 28.
Okay. It's not too bad for the third, fourth liner.
18 he put 43.
Wow.
16, 17, 42.
15, are you serious?
15, 16, 15 points.
But still, wow. Those 2 years are incredible.
I mean, I know you don't want to spend too much
for
kind of a bottom line
bottom
guy.
6, yeah.
But what did he do in the playoffs for St. Louis?
He did well.
He put
he did score the game-winning goal in Game 7 double overtime.
He put up 7 points
to send the Blues to the conference finals.
3 goals, 4 assists, which isn't his most. His most came in 14-15 with Anaheim with 11 points.
Dang, but still 7 points, not bad. And how many games played though?
26.
Okay.
Versus 16 on the other one.
Not terrible, not great. I think
it's better than when he was with New Jersey.
I think that's what
you. 1 point.
Yeah. I think that's what you expect to have a third, fourth liner.
But he's more of a guy.
Fourth liner.
Isn't he more a defensive kind of guy?
He kind of is, yeah. He'll throw his body around and check a lot, and he's some good speed.
I kind of remember him being a guy that people were expecting the Flyers possibly go after last year.
Yeah, even this year, I was thinking about the Flyers possibly going after.
Mm-hmm. But that was, I guess, it makes more sense this year because he's a winger, and that would fit more of a role. But
right, yeah. But for Maroon though, this just gives Tampa Bay even more depth than they've had before.
Yeah, not that they needed it.
No, but
you would have thought.
Well, then again, because think about it though. In a way, they do because they had Adam Earn that they traded to Detroit. So Maroon, I think, will just slide right in and take Earn's spot.
Yeah. But you have to think.
Yeah.
I guess maybe I don't know if it was he wanted to be with Tampa Bay because it's Tampa Bay,
Right.
And you could easily win the cup again. I guess St. Louis was kind of done with them, or else they would have resigned him by now.
Right, because I would say the contract's been out for 2 days now, and if St. Louis
wanted to make the contract, he would have done it.
Oh yeah,
earlier.
they easily could have signed him because $900,000 is nothing for a team, nothing.
But unless he was asking too much,
because they've won. All right, to be fair, they've $1.97 mil in cap space. They still need to re-sign Ivan Barbashev. I don't know how much money he'll take, but he'll probably get a decent amount of that chunk. So they'll probably save money for him,
right?
Which is fair. But hey, he did his part
even
though.
Out of some of the not so great teams, even Anaheim doesn't have that much cap, but but a team like Ottawa or even Buffalo,
yeah,
they were kind of up and coming, and he was also drafted by Philadelphia, in case you were wondering. Back in 2007.
I was like 2017 is like, nope, I don't think that's right.
It's kind of an old rookie then.
Just a bit. But
I guess unless he was asking too much that teams were going to offer,
and that's certainly impossible.
I don't know, but he found a new home for another year.
Yeah.
And if all goes well, maybe he'll come back. But
yeah.
That's kind of the same thing for when they signed Shattenkirk.
Yeah,
it's only 1 year. It's
exactly.
only
it's a low risk reward.
It's $100,000 more. Because they paid $1 million for Shattenkirk, or sorry, $175 for Shattenkirk versus $900,000 for Pat Maroon.
Yeah.
Shattenkirk's a year younger, but still, both of those is kind of a lose or kind of a win-win.
Right, for sure.
But, that's kind of the only thing. There's one other little signing. Gabriel Bork signs 1 year deal with the Winnipeg Jets for $700,000. That's how little there's going on with the couple days we've since podcasted. So, which is kind of expected during the off season. But if you are a Flyers fan, because I only know this for the Flyers' sake,
yes,
and I guess Islanders, because I'm pretty sure they're playing the Islanders. But in 3 weeks,
they almost always do.
3 weeks today is the Flyers' first preseason game.
Yes. Also, coming up on September 7th, rookie camp will start in Voorhees for the Flyers.
There you go. So hockey is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Today
Can't wait.
Is the August 26th. So we're getting closer to it.
And then one more thing quickly for the Flyers. Sam Carchidi just tweeted this out 2 minutes ago. Per source,
Witmer signing with
the
Flyers.
agent for KHL left winger Anton Bertasov approached the Flyers recently, but the team has decided to go with what they have, which is interesting. So I don't know much about this player, but it's weird because typically teams would reach out to the player, not the other way around, not the agent reaching out to the team.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
That's just what I think. Because I've never really seen teams do or players / agents do that for, but oh well.
That's
all right.
Interesting. But now to the big thing.
Yes,
the whole reason why we're gathered around here.
Yes, absolutely.
The new list. It is a doozy.
You're not wrong there, Mike.
So this is a list he has, and after I say it, I'll say what I was going to say at the beginning of the podcast, which is my thinking of goalies and young goalies. But his top 10 goes as followed. From 1 down. Number 1, Andrei Vasilevsky. 2, Sergei Bobrovsky. 3, Ben Bishop. 4, Corey Crawford. 5, Tuukka Rask. 6, Marc-Andre Fleury. 7, Brendan Hoppe. 8, Jordan Binnington. 9, Pickett Rinne. And 10, John Gibson. And I think we all know which one I was talking about, and that's Jordan Binnington.
Yes.
1, I don't think you can say top 10 goalie is a rookie because they don't have really that much experience to really consider for me top 10. I know he won the Stanley Cup, and he was great on the run. He also didn't complete didn't have a full season. So I'll say the same thing about Carter Hart, too.
Yeah.
Even if he plays great this upcoming season, if this time next year we're doing the same thing, I'm not saying he's top 10 because he doesn't have that much.
He has to prove it. They have to prove themselves.
Yes.
Exactly. Before you get into, is there anything else you'd like to add before?
No, that's kind of my. That was my one kind of big.
Because I did want to add something about Jordan Binnington, and for those who are saying, we're bashing Binnington,
which even this is low compared to the fans because
exactly
they had him 3.
Literally, the fans had him at number 3. The NHL released the top 10 goalies list for goalies per fans. They have Jordan Binnington at 3.
Yeah.
I absolutely 100% agree. Binnington should not even be close to this list. 1, he's a rookie.
2,
yes, he won a cup in his first year, which I think is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, and I loved how he played. I think he was great and fantastic. Honestly, he almost deserved the Conn Smythe, in my opinion. That's how highly I think of him. Except,
but it goes to the same thing for the
he played in 32 regular season games. 32.
Yeah,
you can't announce a goalie, especially in his first year alone, is a top 10 goalie in the National Hockey League, the best league in the entire world for hockey. That a 25-year-old rookie is a top 10 goalie, let alone number 8 on that list. To be fair, he went 24-5-1, which is superb. .927 save percentage, 1.89 goals against average, fantastic. He didn't play a full season. This is his first season. Yeah, he won the cup, but again, he's too young and too inexperienced as a goalie, and as again as a goalie
against the tops in the league.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's way too little experience for my liking.
That's too little experience, and you're putting way too much pressure on him then. Or expecting way too much out of him.
100%.
If you're saying he's the number 3 goalie in the league.
Yeah, well, according to the fans, but number 8,
yeah, 8 or 3 still.
Regardless,
even
if you're in top 10,
because then you're saying, oh, he's top 10, so he should be putting up the same numbers. But if he's putting up kind of average numbers that aren't these kind of guys' numbers, you're gonna say,
no, that's not what I meant. Thank you for the high five, though. But I'm raising my hand because I see a major flaw in all of this right now. According to HockeyReference.com, guess how high he was voted for the Vezina. The fact that he was even considered for the Vezina in only 32 games played is a joke.
5.
That's spot on.
Yeah.
Number 5. All right, now you get a high five. All right.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that he was listed as the 5th most voted Vezina candidate, goaltender, that's a joke.
Right. But as I was saying, you're just gonna put too much pressure on him to keep putting up the same numbers these guys.
There's already so much pressure on him.
Numbers.
Yeah.
But if he's putting up average numbers, is he then, to your guys' thought, not a number 3 goalie anymore?
Right.
Or is he just a young goalie that you put too much, kind of young?
Yeah.
Goalie that you put too much pressure on.
So my thing is, and this goes with every single player, GM, coach, it doesn't matter what league, doesn't matter what sport. The most important year for every one of those, people I mentioned, player, GM, coach, owner, whatever, is the 3rd year. The first year, perfect example. Look at Jordan Binnington. Look what he did. Fantastic. Helped them win the cup. Great. Year 2 is important because he has to rebound and say, all right, this is a fluke or this is not a fluke. Year 3, that's a great example of what you're going to get in a player or coach or GM or whoever, in no matter what league.
Right.
So that's why I think, year 2 is important, yes, but year 3 is the most important year of any person's career in sports. And that kind of gives you an idea. If he does put up consistent numbers in all 3 years, hey,
then we can have that discussion.
Then we have that discussion all day long. You betcha. But the fact that only 32 games played, he got 30 starts, 24-5-1, and very impressive, don't get me wrong. He's not a top 10 goalie.
No.
After only 32 games in the regular season, and he pplayed in all 26 games in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
He got pulled in one of them.
He did get pulled. He was 16-10-0, .914 save percentage, 2.46 goals against average with a shutout. But still, he got 4 penalty minutes somehow. I love that. But still, That's not a top 10 goalie. I'm sorry.
No.
Give
Not
him
yet.
time.
Not yet.
He's very good, very young. And if you think we're bashing young goaltender, we don't even.
He was the backup.
Yeah.
Of their AHL goalie last
Exactly.
year.
Not only that, but we don't even have Carter Hart on this list. And everyone who listens to this podcast knows how much we love and respect Carter Hart to the fullest.
The Benningtons and Carter Harts, the young goalies that are coming up now that played really well, because there's one in Calgary, too, that played pretty well.
David Rittich.
Yeah, he played really well.
He played excellent.
Too. But, again, not a great sample size to really decide that. You could kind of make, I guess you really can't either there of those guys, but.
Who's that?
Of a list of those goalies or whatever. But even then, I want to get a little more sample size.
Yeah. Yeah, so all right. So let's go over our lists now. Mike, go for it. You have the floor.
My
go
list
first.
Goes as follows. Number 1, I agree, as this guy, Andre Vasilevsky.
Yep.
But this is where it's all going to go different.
Yes.
Because I think that's the only thing I had similar.
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's it.
Nope, that's it.
I had to think for a second there. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, before we go over our list, I forgot. Are there any honorable mentions? Honorable mentions
well,
from
I was
list
going to do
one?
that. I was going to do that after we do the list.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine.
Just
All
'cause
right,
it makes no sense to do that.
that's
and then
true.
do the
Yeah,
list.
so that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead then.
But
Good point.
number 1, I put Andre Vasilevsky because, obviously.
Yep.
Because
obviously.
Yeah. 2, Carey Price, because he makes or breaks the Canadians.
He really does.
All the time.
He's what keeps the Habs in playoff contention
every year.
Every single year. And he's won a couple of Vezinas, and oh my gosh.
This is where I had a little trouble. But
yeah.
I can flip or flop here, but I want Tuukka Rask 3rd, John Gibson 4th.
Ooh, Gibby at 4. Wow.
Bob at 5, Bishop 6, Holtby 7, 8, Hank, who is not even on this list, 9, Dubnyk, 10, Connor Hellebuyck, 11, Marc-Andre Fleury, 12, Martin Jones, 13, Pecorine, 14, Jonathan Quick, 15, Frederick Anderson, 16, Corey Crawford, 17, Robin Leonard, 18, Matt Murray, 19, Antti Ranta, 20, Philip Grubauer. My honorable mentions goes, I only put 2, Corey Schneider and Semyon Varlamov.
Okay. What a list.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We can kind of discuss it more after you go through yours. Or while we put players.
Yeah. Where'd you have Connor Hellebuyck out of curiosity? I missed it for a second.
10.
10. Wow. All right. Man, this is tough.
Are you changing the list again?
I'm changing the order of 2 names, but it's all good. All right, we're good now. All right, here you go.
His name goes as follows.
1, Andre Vasilevsky.
I think that's the unanimous.
Yes. 2 is Carey Price, of course. 3 is also Tuukka Rask. Who'd you have it for?
Gibby,
that's right. I
had the same problem.
I had a little problem here. I actually have Braden Holtby.
Okay.
5, I have Bobrovsky. 6, who's not even on this list. It's going to raise some eyebrows. Martin Jones. I think very highly of him. I definitely think. Well,
I think he's.
I was having some issues here because this is one of the last second changes. I made 7 out of Connor Hellebuyck because I kind of had this flip flops. I think it's either gonna be Jones 6, Hellebuyck 7th, or flipped. Hellebuyck 6th, Jones 7th.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
Okay.
I'm not like 100% certain on that, but that's the order of those 2. 8, John Gibson. Absolutely love Gibson. Anaheim needs all the help they can get in order to not waste his talent.
Yeah.
9, Devin Dubnyk. 10, Jonathan Quick. 11, Marc-Andre Fleury. 12, Semyon Varlamov. 13, Corey Schneider. 14, Henrik Lundqvist. 15,
Pecorine. 16, Ben Bishop. 17, Robin Lehner. 18, Freddie Anderson. 19, Matt Murray. 20, Philip Grubauer.
Okay. So we have some similarities
We definitely have
there.
some. Because we were talking about before the podcast, and when we were reviewing or talking about our list and everything, and I said for one of my goalies, I honestly wasn't sure if you would have him or not, but we did in the identical spot in Philip Grubauer at number 20.
Oh, I looked at his stats. He should kind of be higher, but yeah. He had an off year last year, but his stats, if you actually look at his stats, are pretty good.
Right, exactly.
Which just makes sense is why they went Grubauer over Varlamov.
Exactly.
I know you have him high, but
yes.
I have him kind of lower.
Right. So
because my thinking with him, with Varlamov, Jones, and even Rene, is that they're in Frederik Andersen, they're inconsistent
in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
too.
But even
in the regular season, you can
but
argue,
there's times where they do tend to fall off, and Varlamov really hasn't had that playoff really there, but he's had off and on seasons, so
no, but all right. So
one name I did say though, that before the podcast, that if they has another good year, that I would put him on or a little higher was Robin Lehner, because he played great last year.
He really did.
And I was even I kind of surprised. The one thing actually that did surprise me is how low you had Ben Bishop.
Yeah,
Ben Bishop was another great goalie last year.
Yeah, but
I know I'm going off last year.
Last year,
but he fell off the past couple years. But that was the Ben Bishop of old.
Right, and I agree, and that's what I like to see.
Yeah, he's still really good.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I think he's still very good.
I think he's slowly falling down this list.
Right,
but I still think he can. He brings the stars. He's making the stars better.
Yeah. No, last year was a great example of what he used to bring in Tampa.
Yeah.
And that's why it was so shocking that
they went with Vasilevsky over.
Well, no, not that, but how little in return Tampa Bay got. Because I thought they would get a lot, but really it was like
from LA.
It was from or maybe it was LA.
They traded to LA and then he went to
No, that's right. It was LA then Dallas. It was literally like a 4th and a 7th, I think. But yeah, no. So
and Devin Dubnyk, we both put him at 9.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
but he was another one that
he's been excellent.
He started on his head at the end of the season for Minnesota. Yeah. I know they just missed the playoffs and everything, but he really did great near the end.
He was the reason why they almost made the playoffs. Yeah. Again, he's one of those goalies, just like John Gibson, who I think is very underappreciated of.
Yeah, I agree.
And does not get nearly enough credit. I keep saying every year, one of these years, I don't know when, John Gibson will win the Vezina.
He was a finalist a couple times, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, and the reason why I have John Gibson up so high, and I'll tell you exactly why.
I have him higher.
Well, I know, but still,
I still think he's one of the better.
So, he just completed his 6th NHL season.
He's only 25, right?
Yeah. He came in the league at 19.
Yeah.
He was 3-0 his rookie season.
Not bad.
There you go. 13-8-0 next year. 21-13-4 in year 3, which again is the big year in my opinion. In 40 games played, 38 starts, 21-13-4.
He's the reason why they moved away from Freddie Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. 2.07 save percentage. He's the best of his career, excluding his rookie season because he only played in 3 games.
Yeah.
And a .920 save percentage with 4 shutouts. That's been his best year yet. Since then, he's still done great, except he's gotten more and more starts. The next year, or just appeared in more games. Next year, he started 49 games, played in 52, 25, 16, and 9. 60 games played, 60 starts in 2017, 2018. 31, 18, and 7. 31, 18, and 7 with a 2.43 goals against average and a .926 save percentage. That is his all-time best with, of course, 10 or more starts. Or even 20.
This might sound weird, but this is my kind of thinking of Gibby.
Yeah,
he reminds me of a mixture of Vasilevsky and Bobrovsky.
Yeah,
he's
very athletic.
He's tall, as in
Vasilevsky.
as big as Vasilevsky, but he's as
very athletic
as Bobrovsky.
Yeah, literally some of these, and honestly, you could argue Vasilevsky too, but
true,
but more Bobrovsky. Yeah, but no, like some of the saves he makes.
Because kind of weight size. He's a little smaller, but he's still tall. That's kind of why I put.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 206 pounds. Again, he's 26 now.
Yeah,
but still, and then last year, 57 games played. Sorry, 58 games played, 57 starts. 26, 22, and 8.
The reason why he won't be higher in these lists is for the same reason this guy doesn't have him on it, or as high in his list. It's because the Ducks aren't going to be that good next year.
No.
Which is the same reason why you don't really see Quick as high or Corey Crawford, even though Crawford might be a little higher just because Chicago did some improving this offseason. So.
Right.
And they also have Roman Leonard. So if Roman Leonard plays better than Corey Crawford might be out of Chicago, and he might be in Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, I think they both have 1 year left. So the one I was actually surprised you had on there too was Antiranta, because I feel like he's one that people tend to forget because it's the Coyotes.
Right, because he's in Arizona.
But he has another one near the end for the Coyotes. He did pretty well.
Yeah, no, he definitely did well,
but
and I've been keeping an eye on
the
him.
same problem as the Flyers, and that they had so many hurt goalies last year.
That's literally the reason why I think they missed the playoffs.
Probably
because they weren't like right there, but there
close. Were a lot of teams that were right there.
Yeah,
them, Minnesota, Chicago fell off near the end, but they were there for a while. But then you also had Colorado right around there too.
Yeah, Colorado.
And then St. Louis got hot right at the end. They were right around each other.
Same thing with Carolina.
Went,
Carolina just banged.
Yep.
They just took so much momentum.
But that's another weird. I guess it's not weird, but
Huh.
how great some of these teams did in the playoffs, yet their goalies are kind of average.
Yeah, it's just so
I'm
interesting.
I am not putting what's his face on here.
Who's that?
Peter Mrazek.
No, definitely not.
Oh, no, who I also forgot?
Who's that? Can't wait for
He's
this.
not the same, but Jimmy Howard.
Yeah, I was contemplating.
Yeah.
I was really contemplating him for a second. I think he did have a much better season last year than he did in the most recent years, but he's definitely slowed down and everything. I feel bad because I thoroughly enjoy watching Jimmy Howard play.
Yeah.
He was a very consistent, strong goaltender throughout his prime. Nowadays, he's slowing down for sure.
Here's my thing.
I think he'll be a great, reliable backup.
But if you look at some of these divisions, like we've done all so far only Pacific and starting the Metro, only two teams going on our third. But if you actually look through these teams, the Central might have the best goalies in it.
Yeah.
You can argue.
Yeah, because looking at the teams.
Because you have the Blackhawks, you still have Corey Crawford. They added Leonard.
Which I think is going to be a strong, strong duo.
Colorado has Grubauer. Stars have Ben Bishop, Dubnyk in Minnesota, Pekarinic can still do well in Nashville, Bennington now in St. Louis, and Connor Hellebuyck in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good goaltending group you have to kind of go up against.
It really is.
I know he retired, but where would you
go?
Yeah, where would you put him on this list? I'd say I'd probably put him at 15.
I was thinking around that age, yeah.
That age? Yeah, but that's kind of our lists. And obviously, like every other list, it's different depending on opinions. Obviously, I'm sure if you're a Penguins fan, you probably have Matt Murray, 5.
Yeah.
Like fans have their own kind of feeling on their own goalies and everything. I'm sure a lot of people think Colby is the best goalie, but
I think he's up there.
He's up there, but I feel like a lot of people go off of just as wins as a way to kind of go off him. Not that he's a bad goalie or anything. I just think there's other goalies that are better than him.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely fair.
And Fleury too. This is another one I think we both kind of struggled on a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we can't forget how great he was for the Golden Knights.
No, yeah, but before that, he played fantastic for Pittsburgh during the majority of his career.
Yeah, but
then he fell off and everything.
He fell off a little, but then when he really We found his game.
There's a term for I can't remember it, but basically he found his game again in Vegas because he knows he's the number one guy,
He
and he helped.
I mean,
to
I
the
know
cup
they
finals.
have a good backup in Subban, but
Yeah.
this is. Or did they trade him?
No, that they still have him.
Subban?
Yeah,
Oh.
they signed to a 2-year deal, I think.
Okay.
But
We should know this. We just talked about it.
yeah, right. All right. So before we go on to the Devils and the Metro, let's compare the lists.
Okay.
So Vasilevsky, everyone gets it right, yeah, too.
Are we comparing it to his list or ours?
yeah, to his list.
Oh, okay.
2, he's Bobrovsky. I had him at 5. Where'd you have him again?
Give me a second here.
Because he had him kind of low, I think. Well, within
I had
the top
5.
10. Oh, you did 5. Okay, my mistake. Bishop, number 3.
I had him at 6.
You had him 6. I had 16. Sorry, Bishop. 4 is Price.
We both have him at 2.
2. 5 is Rask. Both have him at 3.
Yep, same.
6 is
we both have him
Fleury.
at 11.
11. Yep. 7 is Holtby. I had him at 4.
I had him at 7.
Yep.
So I have him exactly where he has him.
Oh,
so
there
I
you
actually
go.
had 2 right.
There
I
you
had
go.
2 the same as him.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, right. Bennington, not even on this list. Rene is at 9. He wasn't even. I'm sorry, no, he wasn't on this list. Rene, I had him 15.
I had him at 13.
Gibson, I had him at 8. You had him at 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then literally that's all we can do.
Because that's all we have.
So
all we can do now is compare from ourselves.
yeah,
We both had the same 11.
yep.
My 12 is Martin Jones. You had him a lot higher.
Yep.
What, you
I
him at
had
6?
Varlamov at 12,
You had him at 6.
and
right?
I had Jonesy at 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd you have at 13?
Pick Arena.
Rene, I had Corey Schneider.
Okay. See, here was another one I was kind of around that same crowd there, but I
It's
wasn't
so
really,
tough though.
But I also feel like he's kind of falling off too.
Well, because he had some very serious injury issues, and
Yeah.
that's why. And because he returned to action at some point in like late in the season,
Mm-hmm.
and it was his first win that he got since November, I think, of like 2018, if not even 2017.
Maybe I don't
Like
know.
it was so bizarre. 14, Henrik Lundqvist.
Jonathan Quick.
Okay. 15.
I had
yeah,
Lundqvist at 8.
and I Quick at 10. 15, Rene.
Freddie Anderson.
All right. 16, Bishop. You had
Corey Crawford.
Crawford.
Where'd you have Crawford?
That was another tough one. As of right now, I don't have Crawford on my top 20
don't?
list.
Okay.
If anything, I would put him at 21.
Yeah,
on
that
this
honorable
list.
mention
Yeah,
list.
honorable mention. Yeah,
Did he make an honorable mention?
not really. No.
Okay.
But Crawford would definitely be on that honorable mentions list.
As well as Jimmy Howard.
Yeah, I think you could argue Jimmy Howard.
Yeah.
You really could. And I know a lot of people over the years have given him so much crap for his job and everything, but look what he's done for Detroit's franchise.
Mm-hmm.
He's been superb,
Yes.
and he's done so much. I really do think
I mean,
he's
you
deserving.
You also can't expect too much from someone who's 35.
Exactly. But the fact that he's still doing what he does at 35.
I mean, we'll see what happens after this year because this is his last year. Then he's a
Yeah.
UFA. Even though I think he was
yeah.
a free agent this offseason as well.
I'm not sure.
We
Yeah.
were at 16, right? 17.
We're
I
at 18.
Oh, we're at 18?
Or no, I'm sorry, 17.
Yeah, I had Robin Leonard at 17.
I did as well. And I think Leonard, he could have a much better year this year.
He could, but I don't know how they're going to split Corey Crawford and him.
It's going to be tough, honestly.
But at the same time, they were splitting Thomas Greiss and him.
Yeah. But I
Greiss is another one I guess you can kind of put on here, maybe not. But
Nah, I'm not really going to
Yeah.
bother. But for Crawford and Leonard, Crawford's been another reason why I haven't put him on this list, because he's struggled in the last couple of years. He's had too many concussion issues.
Yeah, I agree.
Literally, just like Crosby's had concussions and Matt Murray's had concussions. Crawford
Unfortunately, Crosby is the only one that doesn't affect. So
yeah. But Crawford is another one of those players that unfortunately has gotten more than a couple concussions that I'm concerned about with his career ending too soon.
yeah, 18. I had Matt Murray. I think you had
Freddie Anderson, and I had Murray at 19.
No, I thought you had him at 20. Oh no, we both took Phil Gruber at 20. I have Antiranta at 19.
Murray, like I said, 19, and then Grubauer at 20.
Yeah. Which again, I feel if That's another one I think can go up. Because I
Yeah.
think Colorado's another team that will surprise some people this year.
It
they're
shouldn't
another
even be a
team.
surprise.
It's going to be a surprise for
They
those.
should just dominate.
They should, but at the same time, you're talking about people who are either average fans or
Yeah.
don't really follow hockey that much. I would say,
100%.
oh, wow, Colorado's good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I think that is all we have for that list.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was actually, we went longer on that than I thought we would. But let's go on to our next team. One of the most busiest teams this offseason, and still with $8.7 million in cap space, the New Jersey Devils.
Yep.
Last year they finished bottom in the Metro 8 with 72 points. They went 31, 41, and 10. Where did they fall league-wise last year?
They fell.
They were third to last in the league last year.
Yeah. So it wasn't too surprising.
Yeah, for them to get that first overall.
Exactly.
I don't like they got it again. But
Right.
But
Yeah, this is
obviously
second
the biggest
time.
one was that they got that and got Hughes, sorry.
Yes.
They got Hughes last time.
So yeah. So looking first at their draft picks for this upcoming year, they have a first. They have their first, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. They're missing their second and third.
For 2020, you're saying?
2020.
Yeah.
They have the only other pick they have is an extra fourth from Boston. They got that in a trade with Boston, in the Marcus Johansson trade.
They're another one that I'm not sure on. I know they made a lot
Right.
of moves.
They did, and we'll get to those in a second.
everything. I'm just not
Right.
sure on them. I don't
Um,
think they'll follow in the bottom. We both agreed that Columbus, who we talked about in our last podcast, would be the basement of the Metro.
Yeah. Really quickly here, they do need to sign only RFA Pavel Zacha.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
They have 8.71 mil in cap space. Next year, they got a lot of questions to consider. Taylor Hall, they have to try to
Taylor
resign.
Hall, they kind of have to schmooze a little bit
If
because
they-
he's kind of said, I get a little before all these moves, but that he wasn't really the happiest in New Jersey.
But I think it all depends on how the season goes. The fact that they did draft Jack Hughes, that obviously helps. They brought in a couple other guys. One of them being Wayne Simmons, who was only on a 1-year contract. I doubt he'll come back. You never know, though.
I still think he's on that contract to stay close to Philadelphia. Honestly.
Probably. Honestly, you're
just
not
because
you're not wrong.
charity-wise and everything,
Yeah.
he likes
And-
the area. I think that's
for
more
sure.
or less why. he
And
stayed.
besides, I mean, people won't agree with me on this. I can tell you already. He'll play top 6 role in New Jersey. The only reason being
because there's going to be no one else to really fill up that top 6
is
role.
to protect their top players in Hall, Hischier, Hughes. You know, Hischier's contract expires next year. John Hayden, Jesper Bratt, Kevin Rooney all expire next year, along with Andy Green, their captain.
Semi
Vatanen, I forget I had him too.
Blackwood.
Mirko Mueller, and Mackenzie Blackwood. So those are all contracts, UFAs and RFAs that expire next year for the Devils. Now,
here's the big question.
Yeah.
Now, and we said it multiple times. Multiple times
What's
on
that?
this podcast. Pavel Zacha.
yes.
What should they do with him? Because this is there's kind of dilemma at the moment.
There's a big dilemma, yes.
Depending on what you give Zacha, you're giving Hischier more.
Hands down.
Because Hischier has done a lot more
He's
in
at least-
little
he's
time
proven
and less
himself.
time than Zacha has.
Yes.
And he's the one guy, because Strome actually did well at the end of last season with Chicago, the one guy from that 2015 draft that I think is kind of on the bust list.
Yeah.
And it's only because that draft was so good.
It was.
But at the same time, he just hasn't done much. And right now, I'm sure when they drafted him, they thought, oh, he's going to be our number 1 center. He's going to be their number 3 next year.
Yeah. Looking at his stats.
If he's lucky, because Zajac might go 3rd.
Wow. All right. So, and I'll put it this way: for those who say, I'm just kind of off topic for a tiny bit. For those who say someone like Nolan Patrick's a bust, look at Pavel Zacha again.
Yeah.
Literally, look at this. So his first year, you can't even give him a first year because he played in 1 game in his quote unquote rookie season, 2 assists in 1 game, which is good. His first rookie, he's not played 82 games once yet.
No.
He's only played 70 or more games once in his career. That was year 2. That was his really his real first rookie season. 8 goals, 16 assists for 24 points. Since then, 8 goals, 17 assists, 25 points. And last year, 13 goals, 12 assists for 25 points. The games played in quote unquote all 4 years: 1, 70, 69, and 61 last season. That's really bad.
For
For
a guy
a
who
number
went,
4 overall, number 4 or 5, 5 because
let's go through that draft.
yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Number 1 was McDavid. 2 was
Eichel, 3
Marner.
Strome,
Strome, right? Then
4
was
Marner, 5 Hanifin, 6. Yeah, that's right. 6 is Zacha because Philly got 7 for Provorov. But
I'm sure anyone at that spot, even if they wouldn't have taken him, would have taken a chance at Zacha because
it depends on what they needed.
it depends on what they needed. But
They're looking for a goal scorer. Why not get Timo Meier or
There
Mikko
was
Rantanen?
I don't know. I don't.
They're looking for defense. Why not Ivan Provorov or Zach Werenski?
Again, I don't know.
These are questions, unfortunately, you got to ask. Brock Besser went 23rd overall.
Here's the even sadder part. They had 2 first overall picks. They got centers in both of them.
Yeah. You shouldn't feel the need to get.
I know. I know in either one of. Sorry, there were 2. There were 1 or 2 again with the Flyers.
There was 1 because Philly got Patrick at 2.
Okay.
His year went 1.
Got it.
Like, no matter what, even if you did grab Patrick at 1, you're still grabbing the center.
I mean, I get you're getting Hughes because it's Hughes.
He's a generational talent.
But I was probably the one person saying,
who's a Kakko.
Go Kakko because you need wingers.
And you're not wrong. They do need wingers because
if you still believe in Zacha, which it seems like it because you really traded away his rights or even though I felt that there would have been a contract by now. But
all right. Here's what the lines are looking like according to Daily Face-Off. In this part, right away, there goes my mic. Right away, I disagree 100% with the centers. So, top line, Taylor Hall and Kyle Palmieri on the wings, centered by Nico Hischier.
Mm-hmm.
You got to throw Jack Hughes on that line.
No? Too young.
I like to see what the kid can do. I think he has what it takes.
He is, but I'm not putting up. I know he's good, but I'd rather Hischier, who already has chemistry. But I'd also see how it goes.
That's fair.
Try it in
I respect that.
first,
I respect
see
that.
how that goes, and then make that decision from
I'll
there.
give you that. All right. I like that.
But for me, on paper, I think it'd be better suited for them to go Hischier.
Yeah. One of their big, well, not big, but one of their decent size off-ice acquisitions, Nikita Gusev.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, left winger, centered by Jack Hughes, and right wing Jesper Bratt.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Blake Coleman, Travis Zajac, and Wayne Simmons. Third line, that means Miles Wood, John Hayden are being centered by Pavel Zacha on the 4th line.
They don't even have
a 6th overall pick from
line.
the best draft class since 2003
I know the 4th line
on the 4th line.
I know you've changed how we've talked about how 4th line has kind of changed.
I know. But even
you
that's
drafted
bad.
him to be your number 1 center.
Even
in
on number
2015.
2 center.
He's not even number 3.
He's not.
I mean, obviously, Travis Zajac, you're not going to take that away from him because.
And you can't. regardless of where you put Hischier and Hughes,
Even though I feel like I'd be okay with putting Zajac on the fourth.
regardless of where you put Hischier and Hughes, they are your number 1 and 2 center. That's a great 1-2 punch.
But this is something.
Fantastic.
Let's go back to my write-up.
Yes.
That I did.
What'd
That's
you have?
the one thing I said. Because as I said on the Columbus one, I broke it into 3 things:
Yep.
strengths, potentials, and
Love it.
holes/weaknesses. And obviously the strengths: Hughes, Subban, who we haven't really mentioned much yet,
But we will.
Subban and Simmons were acquired. Obviously Gusev was just acquired in the trade as well. And they have Hischier and Hallback, so that's a good group there. Here's a possibility, potential. I said breakout year for Zacha. If another down year, it's his last year in New Jersey.
Oh, hands down.
You can't give someone this long of a leash. I'm sorry.
That's why I
'Cause-
think they'll only give him a short-term deal.
Because how? Okay, so this time next year he'll be 23, and depending on what contract you give him, you're stuck with him. If he comes out to be, he still becomes this bust.
Yeah.
That was kind of the big kind of potential, I thought. I guess another potential could be a rebound year for Schneider, but I don't know. And the one thing I did say, which is why I brought this up, was the weaknesses. Not great offensive depth, as in wingers. Not the best wingers. It's okay, not the best. I still think there's some moves that still need to make before I kind of consider them a deep playoff run team. And their defense is a little better with Subban, but I don't think it's that great.
Okay.
Andy Green's good, but I don't really know how I feel about Vatanen.
Andy Green, by the way, he's 36 years old.
That's the other thing, too.
He's in a contract year.
Yeah.
Or no, I lied.
No,
His
it's Vatanen.
expires next year.
And Schneider, he's inconsistent, which means you did lose after this past one was
Peter Budaj?
Not Peter Budaj.
Scott Wedgwood? Trying to think who else. For goaltending?
Yeah, I forgot his name. Keith Kincaid.
Yes, that's who it was.
They lost him halfway through the year. They traded him to Columbus, but that was the guy they always kind of relied on.
I think
so
they
now
were,
they must be high on Mackenzie Blackwood.
I guess so. Yeah.
This could be a potential big year for Mackenzie Blackwood.
It could, yeah. And, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, Schneider, he was having a very tough time with injuries and everything, and he was just getting back in the swing of things. Mackenzie and Kincaid were getting more playing time, and we'll see what happens. But looking at their defense, though, for daily faceoff, Will Butcher, PK Subban, that's a good defensive pairing. I think Butcher can learn a lot from PK. Damon Severson on the right defensive pair, along with Ty Smith. Andy Green, their captain, is paired with Sammy Vatanen on the third defensive pair.
Sorry, not to cut you off,
You're
but he did play in 23 games. He started 21. He went 10-10. Had a .918 save percentage, 2.61 goals against, and 2 shutouts for Mackenzie Blackwood.
Okay.
That's kind of how you kind of expect. Oh, wow. 6'4", 225. He's a big boy.
Yep.
It was also his first year, so I think that's kind of what you kind of expect a first-year guy to be, I think, when you look at his stats. But that's actually not that bad, I think. So I think if he does... Here's what I'll say. I'll do a little bold prediction here.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Blackwood, if he plays well during the preseason, he'll be the starter in New Jersey.
I could see that. I honestly really could see that.
Even others, they have Corey Schneider for 3 more years.
Right. And for what, $6 million, I believe?
$6 million a year.
Yeah. That would hurt if they made him the backup. I don't think they would, but
It's possible.
it's possible.
Yeah, I, I just don't know. See, that's just one problem, and we're gonna say it multiple times when we're going through these teams in the Metro. All these teams have strengths, but they also have weaknesses.
Yep.
So they're not really the best teams, but they're still good. I just don't know where these teams are really gonna end up. That's why I only think there's only 2 teams right now, or have an idea of where I think they could be. There's another one where it's just a giant question mark.
There
And
you go.
as a Flyers fan, I hope they get in last again. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not,
Yeah.
because I do not like the Devils. Because every time they play the Devils, in the past at least, it's been so boring to watch.
It kind of has been.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's been. Yeah, I don't know what makes it so boring. It's boring.
I hope that the acquisition of Gusev and Hughes and T-shirt again and Hall,
Simmons.
they're a little faster and a little
Oh,
more fun to
faster, yeah.
watch.
I think
That's
they
kind of
will.
the thing. That's what some of these teams are, which
Yeah.
is why Montreal was so good last year.
Also,
all those teams.
I'm calling it right now because Simmons is a former Flyer and he's on the Devils. He's going to put up a lot of points against the Flyers.
Maybe.
He might cry while celebrating because like I'm hating this,
Mm-hmm.
but yay points.
Yeah, he could. If it's Simmons of every other year, it's going to be on the power play. So.
Yep. But looking at
But at
New
the same
Jersey
time,
though,
There's kind of a back and forth there. He's probably going to put up points against the Flyers.
yeah,
But the Flyers also, Provorov,
yeah,
also kind of know how to defend him because they've seen him for so long.
right,
Well, some of them have.
yeah.
Others not so much.
But looking at New Jersey's all season, it's a good all season. So
Yeah.
they acquired PK Subban for picks and 2 prospects. They
Mhm.
acquired John Hayden from Chicago for John Quenneville. They
They got pretty much.
signed
They
Wayne Simmons to a year.
Mm-hmm. They traded Subban for a couple of prospects, I think.
They traded a couple prospects and a pick or something like
Yeah.
that for, yeah.
Subban. And
Subban.
then
Obviously, they got Jack Hughes, of course.
And they traded pretty much nothing for Gusev, just a couple
Yeah,
picks.
literally a
Like-
2020 third-round pick, 2021 second-round pick.
Yep.
They re-signed Will Butcher to a 3-year deal, which is, I think, exciting for them. Yeah, they've had a busy all season.
This is kind of for a bunch of these players, and for the Devils' sake as well. This is kind of a make or break kind of year.
It really is.
Obviously, you could say Zaka, Andy Green, and Vatanen, depending on how well they do, what contracts they would want to get
Mhm.
afterwards. Because Andy Green, a year from now, will be 37.
Mhm.
He's not going to be getting the $5 million.
Right. No, he's
Um,
not. So
Vatanen, I'm
yeah.
not sure. 28, he is almost making $5 million. So
Honestly, it's either going to be a pay cut or they're going to cut ties with him.
I don't know many people are going to take a pay cut to stay in New Jersey.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
you never know.
But- and also, I feel like there's going to have to be a lot of schmoozing again of Taylor Hall, or Taylor Hall could be another
will be.
one of those John Tavares,
Yeah.
John Tavares,
So,
Bobrovsky kind of.
Let's put it this way: if
players.
you're Taylor Hall, and let's say you go next, the end of the year, you decide, all right, I'm going to become a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Where does he go? I doubt. Obviously, he won't go back to Edmonton. Could he want to join John Tavares in Toronto? Could he want to maybe in Nashville? Maybe a Winnipeg? Maybe Colorado?
They want to be able to afford him.
That's
in,
true.
Edmonton, but I don't know why he wanted to say no to going back there.
Imagine him and Connor McDavid.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
how I'd say that. But yeah, I don't know where he would end up, because a lot of these teams this offseason kind of put a lot of cap into.
Yeah. It
'Cause-
also doesn't help that the cap hit is so low. I think it's 83 mil?
Yeah.
Or 82.5. It's not even 83.
Yeah, it only went up a little bit.
It's ridiculous. I think it needs to be raised up higher.
I agree.
At least 83 even, because that $500,000, that does a lot for teams, believe it or not.
It does.
So looking at the next team when we get to it will be the New York Islanders.
Yes, we're in the ends.
So that'll be a fun one to definitely go over. I'm not sure when we'll be able to get that next podcast in. We might wait a little bit longer than usual, just because there's not much going on.
It's whenever we're free.
Yeah, and that's it.
And even if it's not, there's always other teams in the Metro. We can hit both New Yorks if it comes down to it.
Exactly. So that's a good point to make right there.
But again, there were also teams, more so the Rangers, but the Islanders also made some moves this offseason.
They did.
Some they kind of had to, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But until then, we'll see you.